Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the Ramadan Reminders. Today we continue with this 15 minutes talk about significant aspects of what is this month of Ramadan and the fasting. Today I want to focus on the word intention. How important is intention to Ramadan? Well, the beginning of Ramadan, the very beginning of Ramadan, starts with the intention of doing Ramadan. And every day, fasting starts with the intention of fasting. Just like in the beginning of the prayer, it starts with the intention of the prayer. Intention is the key in the words of Mulia Arabi Darkawi. The intention is the elixir. It is the turning point. It is the turning to the meaning. For indeed, fasting is not just fasting. Fasting is the intention of fasting for Allah. So, in declaring your intention, something is revealed, something is open, and it highlights the action and elevates to another realm. It's a bridge. It's a bridge from the physical action to the meaning of the action, is what takes you into the presence of the divine. Just like breathing is an amana, it's a trust given to us that is sustained throughout the year. The breathing of the person who is fasting, it has been said that is different, is sweeter, because it carries the intention of the fasting. So when somebody undertakes any action with intention, is elevated to another realm. Some of the Sufis have said the intention is what differentiates the thief from the guest. When you enter into a house, you can enter as a thief, or you can enter as a guest. In the world of the meaning, you only enter by declaring the intention of what you are doing. So you enter as a guest. If not, you are still an outsider. The declaration is to tell the people inside the house and to tell yourself what is the purpose of what you are doing. Some people have gone much further on this, and they have stipulated that the intention is to activate not just the nerves in doing whatever it is that you intend to do, but it's an appeal to the heart of the mu'min in doing whatever it is that he's doing. It is clear that the act of fasting is an act of the heart. And here, there are degrees. Ibn al-Arabi, in describing the intention for the people who pray in the acting of Salat, he declares the different degrees of intention, reflecting on the wisdom of the person who is conducting the affair. And here, this is before doing anything at all. This is just the very act of placing the intention before the action. Al-Ghazali, for example, he says, with the intention you transform even ordinary acts into acts of worship, just by the very intention that you place before the action. So even things like sleeping, if you do it in remembrance of Allah, to rest, to prepare yourself for what's coming afterwards, whether it's something elevated like the prayer, or is something ordinary like going to work. Even earning a living, would you do it with the intention of serving Allah and serving the people? It's different than just do it for the sake of doing it. So what is the divine? What is the bridge of the divine? Is precisely to invoke what you are doing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I invite you to practice this and to become conscious, just like what you do when you eat bread and you say Bismillah, you are declaring an intention. That every act, including the fasting, which is what gathers us here together, but any act, and make a routine of incorporating the elixir of the intention and see how you change and how even ordinary acts become elevated just because you declare that the purpose, the ultimate purpose of whatever it is that you are doing is to serve Allah, is to please Allah, is to help somebody in the name of Allah. And that changes everything. It changes you. It changes the way you conduct the affair. It elevates your ibadah. It's like through the intention, you make a renewal of what is implicit, the meaning that is implicit in the action, and you establish your position with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you establish the action, the meaning of the action carried in the name of whatever it is that you intend to achieve. Practice it and focus on the following. Focus how miserable it is, how simple it is, what you miss when you ignore the intention. And notice how different the action becomes and how you are transformed by the act of the intention. In doing so, you will understand something that it cannot be understood by reason, but only by taste. And it will indicate your taste and the degree of your capacity to taste on the same degree as you acquire knowledge. So in other words, as you repeat it and you transform it into a habit and you keep doing it, it becomes then an integral part of who you are and how you experience, how you bring to presence Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is itself wisdom. It's a renewal because it changes also the way in which you conduct the affair. This is very clear with the prayer, for example. For somebody who just simply acts on the ibadah without just because he has to, or somebody who establishes the niyyat of the prayer, is completely different how it follows. So fulfilling the famous hadith of Jibril on Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam regarding ihsan, to worship, Allah as if you see him, and if you don't see him, you know that he sees you. And in this, there is an appeal to something much higher and different than the act itself. And so it is with any form of worship, which includes fasting. So intention becomes the first step in the ladder. To be able to appeal to the presence of Allah in this manner, it changes your condition, it changes the action, it changes the benefits. So the same thing is applicable to fasting. Remember that even though you cannot see Allah, but He is watching you. You are being observed. You are the one being judged, which is wisdom itself in the form of ihsan. Don't forget that worship is not just another action in the things you do throughout the day. For indeed, the actions are divided in accordance to the intention. So the intention becomes now critical in order to define what follows. So remember intention. He sees me. Allah sees me. It doesn't mean that you see him, but it means that he comes to presence. This way of speaking of the Sufis, at the very start of every action, especially in those actions that belong to the ibadah, just like fasting, not only you become aware of being observed, but you become vigilant. You become vigilant is put an special meaning through this station of vigilance to the actions that you are committing or you are performing. It is being said that it purifies the heart in its consistency. That means at the beginning the intention, and then what follows, following the intention that you have initiated at the very beginning, that very door that you have going through. And again, I invite you to do this thing and to become conscious of witnessing the presence of Allah. If the people think about Sufism in terms of the big deeds, and indeed there are big deeds in Tassawuf, but to become aware of something as transcendent and transforming, the elixir, in the words of Mullah al-Arabi Darkawi. In order to taste this, you have to start with simple things. And to taste. So therefore, this is an awareness in the act of intention of what happens to you, how it transforms you, so that you can obtain the fruit. What is the fruit? I will tell you what is the fruit. At first is the awareness that you are changing. It goosebumps just by the fact that you are mentioning Allah, you are remembering Allah, the thought that He is remembering you. But then the prayer or the fasting as part of longing. Imagine that all that you are doing is because you long to Allah, you desire Allah. Then satiation, it becomes the very act of abandoning, of fasting, or making the movements of the prayer, or abandoning the food and the water during Ramadan. And there you have taste now. And you are developing taste, and you are developing knowledge on every act that you conduct. So remember, at the beginning of the fasting, at the end of the fasting, even when you break the fast, remember intention. It is the elixir, it's the turning point, it's the bridge between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.